podcast excellence since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network, kingofpodcasts.com.
Pop quiz, is WWE ready for Netflix?
No, Joe.
Woo! Hey, this is the Nitro boy Ric Flair, and believe it or not, whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it, because you have to listen to Wrestling is Real. It is the best thing going today. Woo!
The worldwide leader of podcasting excellence, the King of Podcasts Radio Network proudly presents The Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.
I'm knocking this episode out before Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve rather. It's Christmas Eve night as we record this. Episode 897 of the Wrestling Gizzard podcast. Thanks for listening in. KingofPodcasts.com is the website. I am yours truly, KOP. And yeah, that's part of what New Day did as part of the pumped in booze to get over themselves as heels.
No way. You two do not get to speak that way about us. We heard what you said.
What is going on around here?
So they're catching a part of the crowd that is booing, but they're getting the the Dominic Mysterio boos piped in. Listen, watch it happen again.
Not long.
Obviously, not long enough to know that your job is not to have an opinion. Your job is to come out here and tell the truth, like we did last week.
That's
before that.
Apparently, in 2024, the truth.
See, you can hear it coming in and out. It's very inorganic.
And you're looking at him waiting. No, I see you empathizing with E as well. Right. Well, that's great. Because you and E have something very important in common. It's that neither of you are man enough to lace up your boots again and get in that ring.
See, and the thing is, if this was working so well, they're still talking through it as if they're not being fazed by it, which means it's not being heard by the crowd. Is everybody aware of that right now? Do you notice that at all? Because I did. Right off the bat. That was them doing what they were doing with that. And it's like, okay, well, I hear the same as always. And of course, let's do the part with the mother. Here we go. A lot of clips tonight, by the way. This is a house show bit. The mother, where they're attempting to have a hug.
Even Kofi's mom, wait.
Maternal pride is over.
Kofi's mom gives him the cold shoulder. Won't even hug him based on what they did to Big E.
See, there's all of that going on. And then more, even with Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio. Why do I keep calling him Rey?
You gotta understand all this.
I mean, I didn't like Big E, but that was just crazy.
And the thing is, neither of them getting booed right there, all happenstance, that doesn't make sense. And I must say, when I'm doing this program tonight, I'm looking at what's out there on X and some of the commentary that's out there so far. There's a guy on here on X, I'm not going to call his name, but he says on here a couple of different lines, which is the epitome of the toxic wrestling fandom out there. I fucking love you, WWE, Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. And he says, it's almost time for some more real wrestling from the greatest wrestling promotion ever, where the two greatest god bookers of real wrestling are the real heroes of real wrestling. What? I know not a lot of people are looking at that, but that's really as far back as we go here in everything. And what we're looking at now with what they're doing right now with the product. Now, we played back some clips last week talking about the setup for matches to be held at the Netflix debut at the Intuit Dome. By the way, they have not sold out the arena yet. It's still yet to be put out there, so they have to wait for that first. Another person on X, all happy about what's going on. Amazing news, wrestling community and WWE fans. Cannot wait for a brand new era as Raw moves to Netflix in 13 days. Roll on January 6th, the start of even more epic moments to happen on a weekly basis. It's pure delusion. Everywhere. Now, in the meantime, listen, I'm not going to go ahead and downplay the success of the company. WWE right now, okay, Texas and Toyota Center, Houston, Texas are going to be next week. They're already going to have a sellout for the show leading up to New Year's Day. The final episode on USA Network and the final Raw before the Netflix debut. So you got that going for you. It's things like this with the IC title tournament or the women's IC title tournament and Io Sky and trying to get the girl over in this tournament as the next big star and having to use a hodgepodge of different women to go ahead and get that over.
Kairi Sane is medically uncleared and there's an opening now in the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament. And I want it. Now.
Really? You know, Sonya, that is a terrible idea.
Awful, actually. You guys caused this scenario with Kyrie, so I should just reward you and put you in the tournament? Are you out of your damn minds? Zip it for a second. I've already filled the vacancy that you all caused with Io Sky.
And tell me that's not a piped in crowd that just did that. It's all piped in. So we know what matches are being set up leading to the Netflix debut. We have that all squared away. And for Raw last night, they're at TD Garden in Boston. The Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn promo. And people are saying that it worked so well because in some way he has a point, McIntyre. It's just so skewed and twisted. A perfect heel focus. Zayn's promo talking about sacrifice felt real and impassioned. Not bad for a tape show. Pure Fusion Collective attacking Kairi Sane. And Io Sky now being positioned to go ahead and try to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament. And Io Sky won it. The Judgment Day Clubhouse. Oh, what? We're going to get 3 hours coming up, by the way, starting on January 6th. Back to 3 hours. Keep that in mind. And then SmackDown will also be 3 hours. 6 hours of programming of things like this. Let's continue along here. So Judgment Day Clubhouse. Sami and Jay backstage. Chad Gable against Akira Tozawa. So now we're back to Alpha Academy and American Made. And Chad Gable and his deal with this has not ended. Okay, we didn't get any kind of closure from this before because we had the Wyatt 6 come in play. And then we're back to this again. And now here we go. These two factions are at each other once again with no resolution whatsoever. And we're waiting for Otis and Gable to finally, you want to give them a match, get them all in? Fine. You know, Gable tries to get a hold on, does not want to hold, won't let go. Otis runs in, and then Otis and Gable. We still don't have the final retribution from Otis on Gable. It doesn't matter anymore. This is 7 months later. Why do we even care about this now? Or actually, much more. We're 9 months later. We don't care now. It doesn't matter anymore. Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, again, they're just dancing partners. They continue to do all this here. Now we have War Raiders coming in to be involved just to make it a little bit different. And then the CM Punk, Seth Rollins stuff set up with a interview with Seth Rollins to set things up, which, you know, one of the things that when you let Seth Rollins get to go ahead and be himself and talk might be a good thing. Here's a little clip of it.
Here, and I saw him hand in hand with Roman Reigns. Roman's finger in the air and Punk doing his stupid little go to sleep thing. Like, I just wanted to throw the remote through the TV. Like, I was so viscerally, internally destroyed. I was like, that's it. I can't wait. I don't want to wait anymore. I want the world to see it. I want them to see it.
And the thing is, with Seth Rollins, you still have your beef with Roman Reigns. And you have never got a chance to go ahead and face him at all. Nothing. So now we're going to just deal with CM Punk instead. Because you have the deal with... But the thing is, now they're using the CM Punk excuse as the fact that CM Punk went to bed and helped the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. Instead of the fact that CM Punk came into the company and Seth Rollins has always had an animosity about him anyway. About who he was. But we can't go back to that again. But of course, we're at this point because Seth got injured. And we couldn't have that storyline leading up to it until later. And they decided to go CM Punk and Drew for a long time. Why is 6 always going to be on TV? Are they going to get more time? Are they going to get more vignettes? Like, what are you going to do with them to fill those 3 hours? New Day together. And then we get Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. I thought that might be a match you might wait till Netflix or might wait till a pay-per-view. I don't know. Or actually don't even give them anything. Well, we'll just wait to have them face each other at Royal Rumble. I don't know, something. But here we are. And for Sami Zayn to continue to be like this, just being in the way, I feel like he's always out of place in everything he's in right now. Positioned as this main event guy, and I don't know. Look, he's a loyal guy to the regime right now that's in charge. So they love putting him out there for everything, anything they want. They feel like he's the guy. But I don't see him drawing at all. Unless he's attached to Jey Uso or the bloodline in some way. Sami Uso, remember, he's only getting over because of the Uso thing. That's it. If he doesn't have that, what else does he have? And we hear that the fact that, okay, Sami Zayn's lost 10 times to Drew McIntyre, another loss. So we're going to do the whole, like, he's going to find his way and somehow finally have a chance to win. He's going to, like, this whole loser, constant loser story, he'll finally get his win. He's going to finally get his comeback. I mean, guess other people like that kind of idea. Maybe people resonate more with that, but I don't at all. And by the way, storylines, very light, very thin. And it's funny when I heard something that Vince Russo said on Legion of Raw, and I don't disagree with what he said.
Twitter is hilarious, man. I love talking to pro wrestling fans on Twitter. There's a huge chunk of my followers are very sane and level headed, and then you have like the obsessed, like just the wildly obsessed, low EQ'd crowd that's just ready to just like unbridled, unhinged, you know what I mean? I just dangle the carrot and just like play right into it, and it's hilarious. But the extremism that comes with a lot of these comments are absolutely hilarious. I drop a hint, flagged with the warning sign.
I saw that. I saw it.
And then that created a firestorm of, why are you reporting spoilers? Oh, and I'm just like, and I'm looking at that, and I'm literally chuckling while I'm looking at that, and people are just getting so worked up about that. Right? It's hilarious to report on my page about what my fans are saying, and people get so worked up, man. This Twitterverse of pro wrestling fans are absolutely hilarious. And it just goes to show, the more that I see that, Vince, the more that I'm like, okay, so all this makes even more sense to me of like why they're booking the way that they're booking.
Of course.
Because this crowd of so many pro wrestling fans, they are just insatiated. They're engrossed and ingratiated as well in this pro wrestling culture that it really defines them. Like what is it? Like the Comic Cons and cosplay culture and things like that. You really get so immersed in the culture, and pro wrestling is the same way. I mean, it's the same way. The more you see it on socials, and that's really the biggest chunk of the audience. They're really marketing oftentimes. Their opinions are doesn't really mean much, but the type of audience, it feeds right into what they're promoting. That's the reason why you can have $2,000 tickets and people are going to complain away, but they're going to swipe away too.
It is. Now, here's the thing. So, Dr. Chris Featherstone right there, Legion of Raw, Sports Key to Wrestle Binge. I catch him on every Monday. That's the first show I go to. It used to be Don, Tony, Kevin Cass back today. But now I listen to these guys because I got to hear what Vince Russo says about it. And I understand I'm completely in the minority of all this here. That's okay. I'm not worried so much about that. Because, I mean, I get constant, complaints and stuff now on a regular basis because of my commentary, because of what I say now about certain shows. So what? Every week I get something that's going to come up that's going to get everybody all worked up, and I'm going to get some comments and, whatever. People will get pissed off, and I'll get something said about what I'm saying. So somebody complains about the fact that on my YouTube channel, I got 9 views in 7 hours on one of my comments. And then somebody says, you're not worth this comment. And, it's these people that just continuously go along and get upset and they can't help themselves. Fine. So everybody's getting upset. Everybody's getting all caught up in things. But I think what Dr. Chris Featherstone and actually what Vince Russo says here encompasses what's been going on in the direction of what TKO Group Holdings, right? Triple H is basically just following along with the fandom. When I talk about fandom, when I started bringing that up in the summer of this year, or actually more into the spring, this tribalism just turned into more fandom. It feels like almost a Comic-Con atmosphere. Comic-Con. I know. It really is. And I understand they're trying to do it because there is a real obsession, an infatuation of the product in a way that we can't understand ourselves. But this is a minimalizing the audience. You're going to get some diehards, but the problem is you're not going to resonate to casual fans. You're not going to resonate to a larger audience. So with the Netflix move, WWE is really banking on the fact that they're going to have this international audience of the fandom that's going to be so engaged. Okay, maybe 10, 15 million of them worldwide, 6 billion will be so ingratiated into this and also get caught up into this even more because of the fans around them. It will have nothing to do with the product. It'll be nothing less than an anime or a comic book or whatever kind of franchise, intellectual property streaming that you have out there. It's nothing different. Now here's what Vince Russo says about it.
Bro, because it's like, well, first of all, I just want to say one thing. Like, bro, again, somebody there is in love with Io Sky. They have given Io Sky so much. When you look at this match, it tells you like literally Natalya is yesterday's news because you've given Io Sky so much. Why wouldn't you have made this about maybe Natalya's last shot? And make people believe Natalya was going to win. Why wouldn't you go there? Nope, we're going to put Io Sky over again like we've put her over 1 billion times. And then, bro, you go from that to the clubhouse. And I'm watching this scene in the clubhouse. And Chris, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Do you know of any adults that act this way?
I don't personally, but there's tons of people who play video games as adults.
No, I'm not talking about playing video games. The exchange between Finn Balor and Liv, where the other ones had to relay the message, they were acting like 12-year-old freaking children. When do adults act? I've never seen adults act that way.
So here's the thing, Vince. I personally don't. None of my close colleagues act like that. But again, Vince, these are pro wrestling fans we're talking about. So this fits right into the model of the market. It fits right into it. I guarantee you, I can look at so many pro wrestling fans. If I was a fly on the wall, I would see so many chunks of pro wrestling fans doing the same exact thing. So it fits right into it.
Bro, if they've accepted the fact that they are never, ever, ever, ever going to have a casual fan base again, then fine, bro. Like, seriously, because people watch this stuff and they're saying the same thing that I'm saying. Yeah. Do adults really freaking act this way? They're saying the same things that I'm saying, bro.
Yep. But I think what you just said is truth. I think at this point, the desire to reach a market.
There was another thing that Vince Russo says, that he feels dumb watching the product now. And I completely understand that point. Now, I'm not going to continue on with that, but I want to go and play back some clips of what I said leading up to the Netflix debut. Because there's a lot of things I said about it. I've been very vocal about the lead up to Netflix if they were going to get themselves ready for it. So I put a specific episode out there. Why WWE is not ready for Netflix. I did this shortly after WrestleMania. This is post WrestleMania time, about a month later. And I started coming up with things like this. And the truth is, we don't even know how many fans in the WWE fandom already have Netflix existing in their portfolio of subscription services. We don't know. Nobody thought about that yet. SmackDown and NXT will be made available on Netflix outside of the U.S., so they have that to work off of. So Netflix is also offering their other programming there. Now, there's more to it, but I want to go and keep playing on here. This was going back to August 15th, actually, when I put out this episode. Currently, they spend $17 billion, and Netflix continues to have to spend more money every year for content. And if I ask right now, how much will they spend on WWE? And I'm telling you, if I'm right, it's going to be still in 2025. You know, it's not just the money for the content. They also have to spend on marketing and promotion to lure people over. So again, it's a supposed $5 billion deal, 10-year deal, but Netflix can bail out in 5. So Netflix's spending is based to be estimated at $500 million. And how much will it cost for marketing? Estimates suggest it would range between $100 to $200 million in 2025. So again, WWE is going to be benefiting by $600 to $700 million in 2025 for the production costs, and on top of that, for the promotional and marketing budget. So who are they going to draw in terms of the audience when their programming is now so niche-driven towards a fandom, towards a Comic-Con cosplay type of fandom? New Day and Odyssey Jones storyline confronting the Final Testament over and over again. Tell me how that's going to work out. The Wyatt Sixth dealing with American Made or dealing with Alpha Academy. Tell me how that's going to work. The new Judgment Day, who might be called Street Trash after all, versus Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Okay. The new Bearcat, Bronson Reed, right? Tsunami Man. You know, 6 tsunamis. That's going to go ahead and flip people over to go ahead and click on Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And these things, remember all these storylines. By the way, Bronson Reed, unfortunately, he's hurt. Odyssey Jones, didn't he get hurt too? And nothing else. Like, I'm still trying to figure out where are we going with things right now. Judgment Day, we still have Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest in some way, shape, or form still facing off with Judgment Day. It still continues. There's more. So you're 270 some odd million subscribers watching Netflix. They happen to be catching on a Monday night. You're going to ask them to choose watching Monday Night Raw over Stranger Things. Okay? You'll have a new season coming up soon that will be interesting. Squid Game. You'll have people that maybe they watch Squid Game or maybe they're catching it, right? They might choose that instead. Cobra Kai. They might be able to want to watch that. Or Bridgerton, right? You have so many other shows and other things on that platform. You know, the thing is, Netflix is putting their money in hoping that people that already subscribe to the platform, of the 270 million, that some of them are actually going to watch the live streaming of this WWE show, which is not being made in the same way, shape, or form that those subscribers watch their programming. They're mostly used to watching subscription content. There's not been much of live streaming. And the other problem is we got to find out if Christmas Day, if the Netflix NFL broadcasts go out without a hitch, with no buffering. If that's still a problem, that's a big issue for WWE coming up on January 6th. Are they going to be able to pull that off? That's a big problem. The preparation, what we have to fill 3 hours with, it's going to be compelling enough to get this Netflix crowd to watch. So you're going to get this international audience now finally able to watch at the same time. That's great. Okay, that's going to help out. That's important. They made that point very clear. But what else you got left? They can't just be happy with maybe, 10 million viewers that they might catch throughout the week watching the content, or are they even going to watch the content on Netflix, or are they going to just watch it on social media? And by the way, for Netflix, are they going to put their content out on social media, or is it going to be pirated out by everybody else? Like, that's the other part. USA always been happy to put out content on social media. Is Netflix going to do the same thing? Interesting. For who are they going to watch live? Okay, Netflix is driven on star power. I mean, you think about what? For documentaries, for movies, for TV shows, they have the people that the characters that they represent, that they are familiar with. Well, guess what? All the other shows they have on Netflix, Stranger Things has a very well fleshed out group, ensemble of characters and stars you might recognize. If you've been watching Stranger Things, Squid Game, same thing. Cobra Kai, same thing. Bridgerton, same thing. And those are all scripted programs. I wish that WWE would have should done something with the direction. I mean, look, they don't want to go sports entertainment anymore. They don't want to do that anymore. They're going to go this new route of just going as a brand and just saying, well, the brand's going to just carry itself. It doesn't matter who they have out there. It's if they're under the WWE banner, it doesn't matter. They feel like it's going to be like that. And that's going to be enough. Are you going to draw any new sports fans from this? Has it been drawing any sports fans? No sports fans. No, it's obvious. They're going to try to milk apart the fandom that's going to be willing to go and spend as much money as they want. As Dr. Chris Featherstone says, $2,000 for a ticket for the Netflix debut. You're willing to go and spend that money for that? You tell me. It's a younger audience. Maybe they have the discretionary income, but that's a big ask of them to do that kind of thing. So I don't know what you decide to go and do with that. But I keep going on about this, and I talk about this again all year long, especially going after August. That's all I couldn't stop talking about it. Daniel Garcia, for good and bad. The good is that WWE could not be in a better position right now because Vince McMahon did with it. We are in this for good and bad. The good is that WWE could not be in a better position right now because Vince McMahon did get out with his $9 billion to sell the company. Nick Khan did orchestrate the deal for TKO Group Holdings to buy this out on stock. And Nick Khan continuously was, even after having a failing deal for Fox to get SmackDown over there for 5 years, and the fact that Fox couldn't get the advertising dollars they wanted off of SmackDown, and they put it on the Friday night lineup for 5 years, 2 hours of Fox primetime lineup, and yeah, they could have pulled 2.4, 2.5 million viewers when it was a Bloodline, when maybe The Rock was out there. Remember, Rock or John Cena, they pop a rating. But after that, nobody else. And that's the thing we kept seeing about with SmackDown and everything else that was going on. And it's been a continuous deal here going forward. And I'm like, there's no answers here. There's nothing or anyone on that NXT roster that's going to make a difference. And there's no one right now with any real momentum among the mid-cards that Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and others have been trying to go ahead and build up on. I don't see it here. I'm still waiting. But you could tell me if you're feeling that's coming up anytime soon. I don't see it. So at this point, we're going to get to Netflix and we'll see if I'm right. Of course, the fandom out there doesn't want to say anything about this. They don't want to go ahead and say anything at all about this. They're just going to hope everything goes out well and that's fine. Okay, good for you. But I think there's something to be said about be careful what you wish for. Everybody's looking to see that hopefully the Netflix debut goes off without a hitch. They're going to probably have to pull a lot of strings to try to get some other stars to get in here. The conventional legacy fan base, by bringing back Rock and Cena and having the Bloodline out there, fully out there, and getting some big pay-per-view style matches, that's good for the first week. But how do you sustain it? How do you sustain it? SmackDown on USA, CW with NXT. You know, SmackDown lost the audience they had on Fox. About 1 million viewers. Haven't recovered that back. Are they going to get that once they get to 3 hours? No. They won't. And it was at NXT, okay, 800,000 viewers to start off. Now they're back into the 600,000s like it would have been on USA. But they're supposed to be on a bigger platform. But hey, I'm the one that's wrong. I'm the one that's making mistakes here. I'm the one that everybody should be upset about and, you know, pissy at because I'm saying something bad about the product. Because I am. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because we're going to keep it nice and light for Christmas. That's it. 30 minutes, in and out. Nothing more to say. So, come on back next week. We'll come back and do this all once again. And, of course, the website is kingofpodcasts.com. Make sure to go ahead and, you know, find us on social media. All links. I'll put clips up there of the show. You can catch it for yourselves. So much more. Merry Christmas from yours truly to you. And come back. And we'll talk about the end of the year. More about it here on the Wrestling Podcast, because wrestling needs us.